See what we got.
It's the ocean versus the Dutch. That's the battle that's going on right now. It's been going on for hundreds of years. And you know who's winning? The Dutch.
That's crazy. That's literally... How do you beat an ocean?
See all that
The
water?
ocean.
Super ingenious the way they designed it. Can't you tell the engineering
If I hear
marvel?
one more thing about the water.
I love that.
Look at this map of Holland in 1300. Compare this to a map of Holland today.
Oh, wow.
The country has gained land. Yes.
That's wild.
Thousands and thousands of square kilometers of land has been won back from the ocean. The story of this battle between the ocean and the Dutch explains why Holland is good at cheese, why Amsterdam has canals, why Dutch people ride bikes. And for those who are confused, the Dutch, Netherlands, and Holland are all the same thing, and they all have different reasons, and I'm not going to go into them. You can look at Wikipedia. It's just when I use those words, it all has to do with the same thing, which is this country, okay? So the Netherlands, or Holland, or whatever you want to call it, is a country that is sinking. It's actually, the majority of it is under sea level or right at sea level. I mean, if you look at the map of Holland, you see that a lot of it is just these little strips of land that are right up in the North Sea, and the ocean and the wind just kind of eat away at this land year after year. Instead of fleeing these coastal communities that were slowly sinking into the water, about 500 years ago, the Dutch started to fight back.
Crazy. Fought back against water. Like, they fought back against water, ocean, tides. They didn't say, let's pack it up and move. They didn't say, let's get out of here. They said, you know what? We're going to fight back against the ocean. We're going to figure this ish out.
Now, let's just be clear about one thing, which is fighting the ocean, the incessant, timeless powerhouse, the ocean, is a very difficult thing. Where are we going?
It has to be.
Crystal.
What? Texel.
She said Tristal. Oh wow, that's pretty nice. A Dutch island, Texel.
We made it.
Made it.
This battle between the Netherlands and the ocean is now much more real for me. This wind and these waves are so crazy and consistent. They're just eating this land alive, and yet the Netherlands have decided to fight back, and they're doing a pretty darn good job.
That's crazy. I need to see how. I need to see how. I know that they decided to fight back and decided to whoop the oceans, but I need to see how they did it.
Holland is up for this task. They've developed a whole system, a whole science behind hydrological engineering that has allowed them to combat the effects and the erosion of the ocean.
My
That's
favorite
crazy.
is the curry ketchup. And Johnny loves the Andalus, and they actually go really well together, like us.
Okay, so how do they actually do this? This is where it gets really interesting. There are a few techniques that the Dutch use for their wizardry over the water. The first one has to do with them building a wall around a body of water that they want to turn into land.
Okay.
Build a wall around it, and then they, back in the day, would build a windmill next to those walls, and they would use the windmill to spin, and as the windmill would spin, that would spin a pump that would pump the water out of that land.
Oh, wow. And put the water where?
They'll plant on it, and they will do whatever they need to do to actually make it firm, dry, habitable land, and then they'll build entire cities on it.
That's wild. So you telling me the Dutch just looked at the ocean and said, you know what? You know it'd be cool? Let's just build land here. Like where? Like create land? Like, yeah, let's get all this, pump all this water out. Let's build a wall around this portion of water. And let's just make it land. I'd be looking at it. I'd be looking at whoever came up with that idea and be like, bro, like, are you good? Everything on up there? But I mean, then they figure out how to do it. That just lets you know nothing is impossible, y'all.
And then in 1932, Holland had a huge win. There's this giant part of the country that was a part of the sea, and they finally built this huge wall.
Hey.
Building this giant wall created a barrier between the saltwater sea and made this huge body of water into a freshwater lake.
That's
After they built this
wild.
wall, they then started to section off little pieces of this newly created lake and to start to turn those into land as well. So this is all of the land that they have created since 1932 when they built a wall to make this lake. I mean, it's totally crazy.
Yes. That's insane. That's legit insane.
The Netherlands actually, a few years ago, got a new province, like a new state in their country, not because of any administrative reform, but because they literally reclaimed a giant piece of land that used to be under the sea. So much of the Dutch coastline looks like this. Just super fortified with asphalt and a million other building materials that they have come to over hundreds and hundreds of years of experimentation. It seems simple, it's like a wall, but in this wall lies the secret to Holland not sinking. And they don't always work. There have been times when these walls break.
Yeah.
But for the most part, this has been a success story.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just creating land out of water. It's also just how they manage water in every one of their cities. Amsterdam used to just be, I mean, you can hear it in the name, a dam on the Amstel River. They then built it up and they created this series of canals, a very intentional design, as you can see. And in doing so, they made this city a very accessible boat city, which was a very lucrative thing to do back in like the 15 and 1600s. Amsterdam became an economic hub in Europe and developed very quickly, population boom. It contributed to the golden age of Holland. And even today, Amsterdam is a giant economic and global hub, which you can attribute to how the Dutch have just mastered water and learned how to intentionally design their cities and their country around water management.
God, that's amazing. The Dutch have definitely conquered water. I mean, what can mankind not do, dog? At this point, you gotta ask you, what can mankind not do? Mankind has literally pulled off the impossible over and over and over again. They've conquered everything. Mother Nature stands no chance against mankind. Give it enough time, she can't beat mankind.
A lot of the things we think of as quintessential Dutch come from this culture of water management. I know it sounds like the wonkiest thing in the world, but listen to me here. See the bikes? The bikes are a product of this low land, because when you have flat land, it's relatively close together because as most of your land is waterlogged, then bikes become a really efficient, viable transportation means. You also have some of the most fertile grounds in the world for growing grass, which then becomes fertile pastures for cows, which produce amazing dairy products, which is why Dutch cheese is such wonderful, amazing cheese. And then of course there are windmills. Windmills are a huge Dutch thing. Windmills come from this history of pumping water from lakes and the ocean to create
awesome.
New pieces of land. For a long time, windmills were the technology, which is why Holland is full of windmills. Finally, you have these tulips. Tulips are another huge Dutch thing. The reason for this is that tulips grow in this special clay, sand, soil mixture. And a lot of that exact soil is right here in Holland because of the fact that a lot of this land was underwater before they reclaimed
That's
it.
awesome.
And so it's perfect for growing tulips. So
That
a lot of
is
Dutch
awesome.
culture can be attributed to water management and conquering the water.
That's the end. And let your mind be blown.
I hope you now understand why Amsterdam has canals and the marvel of Dutch water management. So much more to
Yes.
learn. I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip the sponsor, but that's truly phenomenal. Like, they looked at the ocean and said, let's make this land. That's all we got. Make sure y'all subscribe, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up. It's your boy D Neal. Out.